But when he hugged me, his grip was tight, and I could feel my chest pressed against his. How his hand slipped and touched my bum, I do not know. I thought it was a mistake, so I released myself from the hug with a fake smile on my face and adjusted myself. My father-in-law is a very wealthy man. And when I say wealthy, I mean extremely loaded. He owns numerous businesses both domestically and internationally. And the house we all reside in is a mansion with more than 15 rooms. When I got married to my husband, it was the happiest day of my life. I thought I had married into wealth and my life was about to change. But something happened and my life did change. I moved into my father-in-law's mansion the day after our wedding ceremony, despite me expressing my desires for us to get our own apartment after the wedding. My husband Adam saw nothing wrong with us staying in his family house as he is an only child. No one would disturb us, he kept saying to me. And it seemed true because the mansion was so big with different sections that made it feel like having your own house within a house, if you know what I mean. So, I agreed to move in. On the day of my moving, I remember feeling a certain kind of way when we arrived at the house, but I brushed it off as normal to feel odd in a new environment. The maids took my bag, and my husband held my hand and whispered into my ear, "You'll like it here, my love." I smiled and was ready to start my new life. The house is indeed beautiful, with gold chandeliers, exotic furniture, and state-of-the-art gadgets. Our room was exquisite and gave off a luxurious hotel vibe. Maybe Adam was right, I thought to myself. I think I'll like it here. After we settled in, my husband took me to the main sitting room where I met my father-in-law and my mother-in-law, watching a show on one of the biggest flat-screen televisions I had ever seen. Before you judge me and call me materialistic, let me tell you that I grew up in a poor home. We could only afford to eat once or twice a day, with my 8 siblings fighting for the last piece of meat, if we even had any meat that day. Being in this house and getting to live here felt like paradise, so trust me when I say I would do anything to maintain this lifestyle. My mother-in-law immediately stood up to hug me. She smiled and said, "Welcome, my daughter. I hope you are not too tired from arranging your things. From today, I am your mother, and whatever you need, I will make sure you get it." I smiled and thanked her, also thanking God for bringing me out of poverty into this wonderful home. She had a beautiful smile, and that gave me hope that I was here to stay. But I couldn't help but notice my father-in-law sizing me up, and when I looked at him, he winked at me. I thought it was normal, so I smiled. Then he said, "My daughter, come and hug your father." I slowly moved towards him, expecting a casual hug. But when he hugged me, his grip was tight, and I could feel my chest pressed against his. How his hand slipped and touched my bum, I do not know. I thought it was a mistake, so I released myself from the hug with a fake smile on my face and adjusted myself. He immediately reached into his pocket and brought out 2 bundles of currency notes, giving them to me. "Spoil yourself, my darling. You have come to the house of enjoyment," he said. I laughed and immediately thanked him, forgetting what had happened earlier because the sight of money made me really excited. I went back to hold my husband, still feeling shy, and glanced at my father-in-law again, only to catch him staring at me. I thought it was normal. After all, we are family. What's the worst that can happen? For the first few days, life was actually good. I had maids at my beck and call. They all called me Madame, which made me feel important. I ate and drank whatever I wanted, and I did not even have to cook or clean, as I had help to take care of those tasks. I started to feel like a wealthy woman myself. We always had breakfast and dinner with my husband's parents, as it was the custom of the house, after which everyone could start their day with any kind of activity. My husband had just resumed work as the chief operating officer of the largest company his father owns, so he was in a hurry to leave that morning due to a company emergency. My mother-in-law had traveled to visit her sister whose child had just given birth the day before, so she was absent that morning. As I stood to leave the table, my father-in-law called my name. "Tina." I turned and replied, "Yes, sir." He laughed and said, "I told you to stop calling me sir. You can call me daddy, okay?" I responded, "Yes, daddy." He asked what I wanted to do that morning. I told him I did not have any activities planned, and I was going to my room to do some arranging. He laughed and told me to dress up and follow him out. I didn't even ask where we were going, as I did not want to seem disrespectful. I went upstairs, changed my clothes, and joined him downstairs. He was already in the back seat of his car, and as I entered, all I could see was luxury. The car seats were made of fine leather, and the AC was blasting. The car had a partition separating the driver from the passengers, and if you wanted privacy, you could use a sliding cover to close the opening. Money is good, oh, I thought to myself. I sat down beside my father-in-law. He looked at me and smiled. A few minutes into the ride, he looked at me again and said, "Ah, my son has good taste though. You are a very beautiful girl." I smiled and responded.